just piled on her bed, and like bags and boxes that are going to be recycled. They just haven't made it downstairs.
It's floor to ceiling. All of the drywall is covered. I feel like hoarding is kind of like, I don't want to think about that. So I'm just going to walk over the top of it. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to pretend it's not there.
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Annie.
And we have 111 years of experience.
And on today's episode,
we're going to talk about autism and hoarding, which I don't know if anybody's ever talked about that before.
It's not really something that I've ever heard come up, but it's definitely a problem that we see both of us have, and I have seen in other people with kids with autism.
We moved upstairs. I forget how old she was. After Shannon moved out. So once my oldest moved out, and they're both adults, in the back bedroom. So now she's moved her upstairs. So she had a whole lot more space. So having all this space, she decides she needs this and this. She likes seasons, like we all do, because
seasonal decorating,
seasonal jewelry. She makes bracelets. She has lots of beads. She has lots of supplies. She has, but then she has other stuff, like just piled on her bed, and like bags and boxes that are going to be recycled. They just haven't made it downstairs. And it's just a hoard of boxes and bags and decorations and clothes and
all the things. And if it's really the thing about it, like we were talking before, it's like, my son has a tendency, he likes things too. Mm-hmm. He does not want to get rid of things, but he is a collector.
Yeah.
And so he is collections. So he has collections of, right now, Hot Wheels that are on every single wall in his bedroom. It's floor to ceiling. All of the drywall is covered with, although the drywall is covered with Hot Wheels from his bed up to the ceiling, and then other places even more. Mm-hmm. So it's a little easier to live with because it's not on the floor necessarily. Mm-hmm. But also, if he had the space, the entire space would be covered. So if he had access to that kind of space, his space would be just as filled as her space is.
Yeah.
So I think like it all comes back into like, I need that. I'm afraid. I don't want to let it go. And decisions that they don't want to make. I feel like hoarding is kind of like, I don't want to think about that. So I'm just going to walk over the top of it. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. So I'm just going to pretend it's not there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make a decision about that. If I needed it, then I would feel badly that I let it go.
Yeah, I might need it. Yeah. Teachers are bad hoarders too. Well, not all teachers. A lot of teachers are hoarders.
Because you just never know
because you never know. I mean, I have stuff from forever.
And I come from a long line of hoarders. Yeah. No, and I don't I'm not even saying that like an indictment. It's just a statement of fact is that there's a lot of family members that I have absolutely loved, but they have really struggled with the letting go of the things.
Yeah.
And I think that as you look at it, it is very much hard to negotiate that, especially when you are feeling like there is a point where it's unsafe.
Exactly.
We're like we're at fire hazard.
Yeah.
We're at we're at fire hazard, or are we at critter level?
Yeah.
Are we at infestation level? Yeah. Are we at because there's multi levels to this. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, like, what is your ideas on how are you going to deal with it? Like,
how to tackle it?
How to tackle it?
Until now, I just retired from teaching this past May. And so up until now, it's just been, bring down your trash when it gets full, bring down, your dishes when you get done with them. And then sometimes she will, sometimes she won't. But usually if I stay on her about bringing her trash downstairs, she will do that. That's one of her jobs, right? To bring the trash down and to take the trash out to the truck. She knows she's supposed to do that. And then But it's just like, I can walk up there and there's 2 or 3 bags of trash. And she just hasn't brought it. She's bagged it up, but she hasn't brought it downstairs yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, when you come downstairs, bring a bag of trash with you. If you have a bag,
Yeah.
don't let it sit in your room. Bring it down here.
Yeah. And do you think that comes from not thinking of it or avoiding it? Because I feel like both. Like for my son, it comes into a little bit of both. I feel like sometimes we are avoiding the situation, but mostly I think
I'm not
the
sure.
majority of time,
sometimes.
but he doesn't even think of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless someone has mentioned it to him, the problem, he doesn't look at it as if that's problematic.
No, it's like,
when we've had issues come up about things, that seems to have been the thing, is that he just was like, oh, I just didn't know what to do with it. So
it just sat there.
it just sat there because nobody told me what to do with it. So I never thought of it. I think that is, I don't know where that comes from, but I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Where it never even occurs to him.
No, it's just completely off the radar.
And so therefore, because we have our trash day on a certain day of the week, he knows that that's trash day.
Yeah.
So he knows he needs to take the trash out by that certain day because that is part of our routine. Now we set it up like a routine. Guess what?
It gets done.
It gets done. Because then it is part of the giant routine that we've set up. And okay, well, it's, let's say our trash day is Tuesday. It's Monday. I need to make sure all my trash is out of my room.
Yeah.
And out of my bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But, no, it's like there is not a thought of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, even like when you come down to like dishes and things like that, he will do the dishes, but not without somebody having an outside force tell him, you need to do the dishes.
Right.
Now, if it was on a list that he was supposed to do the dishes every day, he would do the dishes. So for him, having it set up, that is like a to-do list. That's just what works with him, because once he read it, he can't not do it. He's got to go take care of that.
Click up the list.
Click that off the list. When we go on trips and stuff, a lot of times, the thing is
he's in charge of that.
Yeah, he's completely in charge of that. Watering the flowers, and he'll go out and water the flowers. But would he do it if the list wasn't there? I really don't feel like he would.
Yeah, probably not.
I feel like the chances of him doing it are very slim. That he would just not even, it wouldn't even be on the radar.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be a thing that he's even thinking about.
Right.
He'd be more worried. He'd be more into like wanting to play a certain game or watch a certain thing on YouTube or whatever, but it's not going to be this household stuff, even though he's done it since he was 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, I mean, we were always really good about starting chores early, and like the kids all did their own laundry and they had to do the dishes and we had to take care of our bathroom. So he knows how to do all the things, but without that outside motivator, I just don't see it. I really just don't see it, that he would be motivated to do it. So that kind of comes into the fact of, you know, he would really like to move out.
Yeah.
He would really like to move out, and he's worked and he's, you know, been a good little squirrel and saved a lot of acorns, and he's done really good. But I do worry that if he was out, how much would he do to take care of his own place? And would it be more of an intrinsical thing at that point? We won't know till we try it.
Right. That's true.
Would it be more of an intrinsical thing where he would be like, oh, I needed to be in charge of this now? Because right now I'm living in mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
And doing mom and dad's stuff.
Right.
With their stuff. And, you know, maybe if it was his, it would mean more. Or maybe it wouldn't.
Or maybe it wouldn't. You don't know.
You know, and then at that point, you know, how many young 28-year-old gentlemen live in a house that's gross because they don't want to clean it either. You know,
that's a pretty typical thing.
It's not abnormal.
It's not abnormal. Yeah.
So like, you know, that kind of goes through my mind sometimes. Yeah. That is this generational? Is this like a whole, it's just, you know,
this is kind of typical,
or is this kind of just typical of this is just kind of a typical thing that a lot of people deal with?
Yeah.
But so like, what are your strategies? What are you going to do?
Well,
what are you doing?
As soon as school is out, I got a, on the refrigerator, I have a little dry eraser board that I was using for a menu. So I erased all that and thought, what if I put like one thing for her to take care of on that day and just see what happens? And she followed it pretty good. There was a couple of days she didn't, but majority of the days she checked it to see what, like you said, checking off the list. And if she agreed with it, she would do it.
Yeah.
Like on Friday, I put beads. I didn't put anything else but beads. I just put beads. So like for her to either organize them or do whatever she needed to do with the beads. Well, she took offense to that.
Oh, really?
She didn't like that because
What do you think she didn't like about that?
because her beads are that's her. I don't know.
She wanted more control over it.
She
wanted to be independent.
like, what do you want me to do, Mom? These beads have to be on towels or they'll fall.
I was going to say, or was it not enough direction?
Maybe just not enough direction. I need to be more specific.
Yeah.
So we bought all these little organizers for her. They're almost like little fish.
Tackle box.
Like, I think.
Where you would put your
It's got all these little
bait.
your little craft organizers.
Yeah.
And to put all the big, well, she doesn't like that because she says, I have them sorted a certain way, oh my gosh, they're sorted a certain way, And I'm like, well, you can use these and you can put them all in there and they'll be so organized and you'll be able to find them and we can buy more if you need more. This is where I got,
Because she wants, I think there's a part of that too, where she wants to be
control of that.
100% independent on this. This is not something.
Yes, it's like,
this is
you don't
my
really
thing.
know about this, Mom. This is my thing.
This is my thing. I do this thing. And,
Every just stay out of
and
it.
that's ever, like you think about it, there's a lot of,
26-year-olds that
that would be like the same way. That a lot of people that would be just like, okay, I got this. Like, this is one I'm not gonna. Like I said, I kind of wonder if I wasn't there looking over the shoulder, would there be more independent things going on?
Yeah.
But because I'm there poking about it, yes. And then I don't know. I really work hard personally at trying to not be that way.
Yeah.
Even to the point where, like, it kind of feels like, I know I would say my husband would definitely say that he feels like I don't maybe say enough. That he would be better off if I said more and that I was more trying to control the situation, where I'm actually trying to let him control the situation, and he brought it back up. But it's a fine line because, there are times when things have happened and I'm like, experience has taught me the best on a lot of things.
Right.
And sometimes you have to go through the experience to actually learn something, to really get it in the fiber of yourself. And
I think she does want me to help her.
Yeah.
I just think she wants to do it her way.
Yeah.
But I do think she wants me
To guide her. But not tell her.
Not dictate.
Not dictate.
Wow.
It can't be like a command.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the same kid that if I don't set a shower alarm, she won't take a shower
Yeah.
because she doesn't think it's not on the radar.
Right.
It's not there. There's nothing in there going, oh, I haven't taken a shower a couple of days. I probably should do that.
Right.
It's not there.
Right.
So,
which I think is pretty much like that. That's like across the board for a lot of people who live on the spectrum.
yeah.
They forget about the body. They get so wrapped up in the thinking.
What we talked about before, like they're only thinking from here up.
They're thinking from here up. It's like the rest of this just doesn't seem to exist in the same plane.
Yeah.
And so they're just like disconnected from all of this.
Yeah. It's like
Unless it's hurting, unless it's like in trouble, unless there's like a something happening.
Yeah.
Then it's, but if like for a regular day, no, I'm not really thinking about any of this. I'm just thinking about the things I like to think about.
Right.
I'm just going to
hyper focus on that.
I'm going to say, as a person who's listed to my phone, I totally understand. Because there are a lot of days when I wouldn't mind just getting and scrolling on my phone, but I know it's not good for me. So like my greater adulting self comes out a little bit and says, you probably need to make sure something gets done today. The laundry. Could you just, I guess I always go back to laundry and dishes, because they never go away.
They never go away.
They never go away. I like the idea that you had said at one point that you were going to just like break it into little pieces.
Yeah.
So like if you've got
that's for me too, like the house. Like this house has been so neglected for so long between my hip and back issues and just teaching and just everything being so overwhelming. And, it's been so hard. So to even try to clean the house anymore as I'm gotten older and way more distracted, I have to do that same thing. I have to break it down into the teeniest, tiniest little things or I won't do any of it.
Right.
It'll just not get done.
Yeah.
And that's that same, you were talking about, the hoarding thing where you just, that's a decision you're not going to make.
Yeah. Decision I don't want to make right now.
That's me and cleaning house.
That's kind of the same thing. And that's probably just like, there's a part of human nature that's probably like a survival skill, that is about, I'm just going to put it off. I'm just not, and procrastinators unite tomorrow. Like that. But I do feel that. And I used to be like a perfectionist. And so I wouldn't do it because I wanted it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that getting over that was kind of really helpful as far as like not being so procrastinating. Yeah. I notice now it's like, for me, it's health issues. Like if my back is hurting or I'm having
sit down.
If I'm having, like I have trouble sleeping and I have some insomnia. So like if I'm feeling like I've had a crappy night, then I'll have a crappy day.
Yeah.
So like I really am watching to see like how my energy level is all the time and how I'm responding and all that. So the reason I wasn't making the decision before was related to trying to be perfect. Right. And now it's related to I just can't get out of this chair. Get it. I just can't do it. I just can't get out of this chair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally feel that. I think that's one of the surprising things about like as you get older, you just don't think about how much less energy you're gonna have and how much less
about this, and then you can't do it,
and how much less of a battery charge you have. Like a battery, like when you have an old phone and the battery just goes down from like 80 and you look at it again, it's like 17, and you're like, what happens?
Yeah,
that's pretty much on the battery basis. Yeah, and especially if it's like too hot or too cold or too rainy or too whatever. Yeah, it can really throw me in a tizzy. So like my energy will just go woo, and it's gone. And I just have to sleep or I have to rest because I will not get it back. Yeah, until I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Go back on the charger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. I think that like as a final thought, I would probably go back to the thing of, we all got stuff.
That's true.
We all got things that we're working on.
I just don't want her to fall.
I don't want her to fall. I don't want her to be in an unsafe situation. And
tripping over stuff.
Each little step is progress.
Yeah.
Each tiny little step is progress, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes down to it, it's part of, trying to figure out what you can live with.
Yeah.
And how you can both live together in harmony.
Right.
And not that it's going to go away, but that you can come this way a little bit and maybe be a little more specific in your guidance. And she can come this way a little bit and be a little more open to maybe challenges. And that you both have the time.
Right.
That's another part is that, after retiring, you're just going to have more time to commit to those things.
Do it. Yep.
And add focus to your day. That's part of my day is that I'm going to schedule her to get ABC done.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then like, it's like anything else, drops in a bucket, like we talk about at school all the time, little tiny pieces, little tiny drops. And then before you know it, you've got a whole bucket full of good stuff,
Yeah.
So the one thing I would add though is, like I said, if it's not one way of procrastinating, it's another.
It's true.
If you have anything to share about your own personal experience of going through this, we are happy to listen.
Yes.
Please tell us in the comments. And we'd really like it if you liked, subscribed, commented. It would be great. It really helps our channel.
Yeah. So until the next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.